Hey guys, my name is Marijka and I work at the Milton Public Library. Today I would like to bring to you a few newer books that I think everyone would enjoy, or some of you would enjoy hopefully, and want to read. So we're going to start off with the AntiBook. This book is by Raphael Simon, and so the book centers around this character called Mickey. And Mickey has this advertisement in his bubblegum wrapper, and it says, "Do you ever wish everyone would just go away? Buy the AntiBook today. Satisfaction guaranteed." So it just so happens that that is like literally exactly what Mickey needs at this moment. He's so angry all the time at his dad and his mom. They're divorced, and he all of a sudden has two stepmoms who's both of them's names are Charlie, which is weird enough. And then he of course has the sister, and nobody likes sisters. Just kidding. So all of this stuff, he's just angry all the time, and so he's like, I have to have this book, it's gonna solve all my problems. So he orders it and he gets it and he opens it up because it's gonna have all the answers, and it's blank. Every page is blank, almost. The only thing it says on the inside is to erase it, write it. So Mickey does just that, and before he knows it, he's living in this anti-world, and none of the things that made Mickey angry are there anymore, and these people and these things are all gone, and everything is different, and it's not the real thing anymore. And this story is just a really good, like, careful what you wish for style books, but with this really fun, imaginative take on what could happen if a book like this existed. So it's just a really fun read that maybe makes you think twice about some of the things that you are thinking in your own head. So that is called The AntiBook, and it is by Raphael Simon. The next book that I would like to bring up to you is a book called Lengend of Auntie Poo, and this book is by Shing Khor. And this book takes place in 1885. So it is not a recent book, it is a historical telling, but it is done so in such a beautiful way, and it's all in a graphic novel, which just makes it so much easier to understand and gives it so much more texture. So 1885 is a few years after the Chinese Exclusion Act. So a lot of the outlining stories and a lot of the themes surrounding the main characters are very heavily saturated in racism. That was very much the racism against the Asian community was very, very big at the time. So it plays a heavy part in this story. So this graphic novel is a really great combination of history, adventure, and magical realism. So yeah. So May, who is the main character, she works with her father on in the kitchens of a Sierra Nevada logging camp, and to deal with the racism that literally is all around her all the time, and not even to deal with it, honestly, she would much rather just like ignore it, and she kind of wants to pretend that that stuff doesn't exist, and that, you know, she creates this sort of little warm cocoon for herself, and she creates that little warm cocoon for herself by focusing on her kitchen work and her friendship with this girl, and then these stories that she tells, and she tells these stories of Auntie Poo, who is a reimaginative take on Paul Bunyan. So, but Auntie Poo is this matriarch, this Chinese matriarch character. So she then starts to like use these stories to build a bridge between the traditions that she kind of feels disconnected from, because she does live here and is not connected to that her country and her people, and she doesn't really speak the language of her people, so she has a disconnection to that. So it's a bridge between the disconnection of those traditions and then the American culture that doesn't accept her. So this is just a really great book that kind of gives you an insight into what it was like then, and kind of maybe give you a different perspective about what it would be like to live if you were not you. So that book is called Legend of Auntie Poo, by Shing Khor. Another book that I have for you is super fun, and this book is called The Hat Makers, and this book is by Tasmin Merchant. So this book is set where there are makers, such as the hat makers, and makers weave enchantments and magical spells and, you know, like protections and stuff into the things that they produce. So the hat makers actually weave these things within the threads of the hats. So this allows the wearer to be bolder or more daring or even more violent, whichever the weaver at the time is going for and what concoctions they put into it. So Cordelia is a hat maker who lives with her aunt and uncle, and one day her father becomes lost at sea. So not only that, but France at the time is declaring war on England. So it's up to the various families of the makers to produce peace clothes for the princess. So the story is really about, can Cordelia find her father and help stop this looming battle with France? But it's really just told in this like wonderful magic adventure story that is just beautiful to read. So that book is called The Hat Makers, and it is by Tasmin Merchant. The next book that I'm bringing today is called Yosef Azim is Not a Hero, and this book is by Saadia Faruqi. I am very terrible with names and I'm very sorry. So this book deals with a lot of things. It is very relevant to the now. It is dealing with COVID, and then also it deals with the 20th anniversary of September 11th attacks. So Yosef is super excited because finally this is the year that he is old enough to join the robotics club and participate in the robotic competition that he believes him and his friend can hands down 100% win, and he is just stoked for this. He has waited for this for so long. So his excitement soon dissolves as he starts to experience these like really seemingly just mild racist attacks against him that start to escalate rather quickly, all having to do with this is the year of the September 11th attacks, and he lives in this small town in Texas, and the people there still have, and with the remembrance of 9/11, this really horrific anti-Muslim feelings and rhetoric that they are going around. So this book is just a really good telling of the life of Muslim Americans and being a Muslim middle schooler filled with a town of people who like to refer to themselves as never forgetters. So it's just a great story that is very in tune with the now, with being COVID, and we just had the 20th anniversary of September 11th. And again, this book is another book that gives you maybe an idea of what it would be like to, if you, this book gives you an idea of what it would be like to possibly be someone else that maybe doesn't have the privilege of being the same tone and skin color as you, or religion. So that book is called Yosef, Azim is Not a Hero, and it is by Saadia Faruqi. Another book that I have for you today is called Almost Flying, and this book is by Maia Arlow. So Dahlia has two things that she wants to accomplish this summer. One, she has to ride around a roller coaster. Two, she must meet and become best friends with someone this summer. It is those two things, absolute must. Then her dad informs her that he is engaged to be married, and her soon-to-be new stepmother also has a daughter who is going away off to college in the fall, and they feel it is very, very important for the two girls, so Dahlia and her soon-to-be stepsister Alexa, to spend some quality time together and get to know each other a lot more before she goes off to college. So both girls are kind of devastated because they each had separate plans, and now they're seemingly ruined until Dahlia learns what Alexa's plans were. Alexa has this big plan of taking this amusement park road trip. So once Dahlia hears that, she knows that it was meant to be and that she should go on this road trip, and that maybe they could bring along this friend that she just met, Franny, and then everything will be perfect. Roller coasters, best friends, new stepsister, absolutely amazing. What could possibly go wrong? As we all know, in the book world, lots of things, and really in real life, lots of things could go wrong. So as she's thinking this might just be the absolute best summer ever, which it could have been, it could be, but it also becomes the summer of discovering herself and discovering things around her. This is a really fun, great book, and it is called Almost Flying by Maia Arlow. The last book that I have for you today is called All You Need Is Love, and this book is by Tanya Guerrero. This book is about Alba, and for the summer, Alba's mother is sending her away to Barcelona. There is a lot of family trauma at home. Alba's dad is a very abusive alcoholic, and her mother has decided that it is finally time that she leaves him, that they need to get away, and this is the summer to do it. And in order to do it in the safest manner, Alba needs to be as far away as she possibly can. Barcelona is pretty far. So, of course, Alba doesn't want to get sent away, and it makes her feel pretty unloved, and she's really nervous about going and how she's gonna fit in, and she's just really uncomfortable with everything that is going on. But once she gets to Barcelona, her and her grandmother form this really amazing relationship, and Alba meets an old friend of her mother's, and this friend teaches her how to bake, and Alba just absolutely is just loving her experience there and loving this person that she's becoming. And finally she has these people who just like her for who she is, and all of these other things, and it's just absolutely amazing, and she has friends and everything is going really good. And then they hear that the bakery in which she has been learning to bake at and helping out is going to be closed. So Alba and her friends must figure out a way to save it. This is just a really marvelous book about finding your family by birth and or by choice, and accepting yourself, and really yummy baked goods, which in my opinion you just can't go wrong. So yeah, those are my books, and I hope that you think a few of them at least sound really good, and I hope that you enjoy them, and I will see you next time. Bye!